Hi everyone. I'm holding the mic because I've had the worst luck pinning it on me. So here we go. I hope everyone's having a good day. Um, Today is actually the first time that I'm feeling more like myself, and that's actually the reason for this video. So at first, I was gonna talk about how burnt out I am or feel through freelancing and also through keeping my two jobs alive. And this year, I've also added studying. And honestly, I haven't even started studying, but I think I'm already feeling the pressure of doing everything as a single person, um, with all these roles and stuff. And I've also felt overwhelmed recently um, by or through a freelancing gig that I'm actually doing, and the role has changed so much and it has just really brought me like a lot of stress, good stress, because I love to learn and I love to grow. So I'm not complaining about it. It's just that I've noticed that I'm crashing way more than what I used to before, when I was juggling way more like clients than what I do now. So it's 2024, and I do think that there's still a lot of opportunity for anyone to get started as a freelancer. And I do think that an extra stream of income is so vital, especially if you're South African. I mean, I don't know any other countries, their situations and stuff, but we have the highest um, youth group that's unemployed. And I do think that a large part of that is the fact that people just are not aware of the opportunities that are available online. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that because people are not aware, they're not equipping themselves in the right roles. For example, right now, if you say that you have computer skills, it can't mean the same as typing because it's just not the same. Most of the roles that I've had as a freelancer, it's like typing is like it's like 99% of what I do, but it's pointless without actually having a specific skill that helps my client to reach their goals. To make an example of this, my recent client that I started working with, when I when we started working together again, I got introduced to four new apps, three of which I never knew existed. And there are other apps that do that thing, but I didn't know that they were these particular apps with those particular names that were also doing something that some other app is doing. So there are more competitors in the space, um, with apps doing the same things, but now it's up to each business to decide which app they want to use. To use a good example, is actually Monday.com. So Monday.com spent a lot of money in advertising. I mean, every time you opened a YouTube video, it was Monday.com. But Monday.com, like their competitors, Asana, there is Airtable, there's Trello, there's Notion, there's um, a lot that I don't know, all doing like task management or team management, especially remote teams, etc. Literally, you wouldn't know which one your client wants to use. I think the best way is to at least know what it does. But I do also think that remote teams, like in terms of they do allow a sort of like a learning curve, not a big one, but they do allow it. So if you want to get started as a freelancer, you have to be open to whatever is needed, and to also learn what makes a business run, especially a remote business, because those are the people hiring. So there's no point in um, for example, just learning how to do minutes, which is one of the things that I offer, because there's only so many people that are looking for minute people. So you have to kind of like train yourself in various aspects of what a remote business needs to, like, in order for it to run. So where do you get started as a South African freelancer? I definitely still recommend what I've always recommended, which is Fiverr and Upwork. But you would be so surprised the resistance that people have towards signing up, creating a profile. Yes, it does require you to sit down and actually spend time doing these things. And that's what I think or see people have the most resistance to. Like, it's just like it's so hard to build a profile. And I feel like I understand that because I also went through that. But it's about pain threshold, which means how much money are you planning on losing out on purely because you don't want to create a profile. I've talked about Fiverr and Upwork for the past 2.5 years. I mean, I've stood on rooftops screaming, get on Fiverr, get on Upwork, all of these things. And honestly, I still haven't peaked, on these platforms. And there are still people who are doubtful. There are still people who have resistance. There are still people who think it's too much work. There are still people who think that it's too hard, and it's none of those things. It's all about, do you want to get um, an extra stream of income or not? So I still recommend Fiverr and Upwork. A different way of getting freelance clients now is actually through LinkedIn. Like, I haven't actively looked for clients on LinkedIn, but ever since I changed my profile to say that, because before I was an accountant, blah blah blah, long story. But ever since I changed to for it to reflect that I'm a social media manager or I'm a communications manager, a few people have actually reached out to me in my DM asking if how they could work with me, or um, how they could go about finding someone like me. And I found that quite strange because I feel like LinkedIn is also quite unfriendly, in my opinion, but I think it's just bias because of the fact that when I was an accountant, I feel like my feed was full of accounting stuff and all of that stuff. So it's kind of weird to be on the other side of that, where it's about social media and basically stuff that I do now. So it's definitely something to explore, but I also do think that people have resistance in completely building something up like on LinkedIn. Yesterday, I saw a YouTuber who posted on YouTube posts that she was looking for a virtual assistant. It's not the first time that I see someone do that, because last week or 2 weeks ago, a huge seven-figure business owner was looking for an operations assistant. And this is someone who's going to be reporting to the operations manager. And the package was really awesome as well, because I I love her entire platform. I love how she presents her programs. I mean, I look up to her in terms of one day having like that free of a life. And so she literally just blasted it out on her newsletter. Hey, I'm looking for someone like this. These are the job specs. I think she put it on a Dropbox or something like that. And if you are not like if you're not on her email list, you did not get it, because I don't think she posted on her social media. I've seen people post jobs on stories, especially people who are self-employed or who are coaches or have a remote business and all of that stuff. So technically, if you want to get started as a freelancer this year, especially as a South African person, it's really not that hard. You just need to be in the right rooms and be aware of the right people. Because if you're going to follow celebrities on Instagram, your entire Instagram is about following celebrities, chances are low that you might see something there. But if you reconfigure your settings and you follow people that actually inspire you, you follow businesses. I mean, like, people who own businesses are on Instagram and LinkedIn. So you would have better access to them on those platforms than you would on, let's say, a celebrities platform. I mean, you get what I'm saying. The point is, the opportunities are there. So we've talked about Fiverr and Upwork. We've talked about LinkedIn. We've talked about just being in the right spaces. And like I said, this was on YouTube. The other one was on an email list. So it's all these digital, like, available platforms that are free to be a part of. where you can actually get these opportunities. And it would be also a mistake to think that because you're South African, it would be hard for you to find a client, especially if you're looking specifically for South African clients. I don't know why you would do that, but let's say you're only looking for South African clients and all of that stuff. There are South Africans on Upwork looking for, let's say, Americans or just basically freelancers to do the work for them. I've also been approached by several South Africans on Fiverr, also looking for freelancers and all of that stuff. So honestly, there is no limit to this. If you really wanted to be a freelancer, you can be. If you really wanted to create an extra stream of income, you can. It's just about knowing where to look. And it's also about when you do find the information, actually taking action. Because, like I said at the beginning, a lot of people get stuck there as well. And setting up my Upwork profile was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And even after I set it up properly, it was still hard for me to send proposals. I didn't understand why, what I was doing wrong, and all of that stuff. And I ended up buying a course that, oh, it was actually a training. It was a live 2-day training. Um, and I learned everything that I need to learn from that training. And so, if you have to spend a little bit of money to just learn what you need to learn, because sometimes you can watch YouTube videos and not learn anything. I mean, some people, but basically, do what you need to do to get the information that you need in order for you to get what you want. I love how perfect that came out because that literally like just underlines everything that I wanted to say from the beginning. So, if you have any other questions, let me know down below. I'll be happy to answer them. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.